Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Yoga Intermission, our series of 50-minute yoga classes, all different styles, all different types. Today is Saturday, and it is 11 o'clock in the morning here in Eastern Time, Vermont. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're double checking that we've got sound working. And video, looks like that is all good. My name is Karen. I'm coming to you from Vermont, as I mentioned. And our yoga intermissions are designed for any time practice. Today we are working on the theme of move and meditate. If you have a cushion, you can go ahead and sit on that if that feels better for you, scooching the sitting bones forward on it. For me today, I'm not going to use a cushion. Today is Move and Meditate. There is a link to a Spotify playlist on the YouTube description. If you would like to hit the play button on that, feel free. You don't need to pay for Zoom to do so, although know that if that is the case, you may get advertisements and some other music that they offer through the playlist. So we're here together for 15 minutes today. And we're just about to get started, so we'll give it another 2 minutes for folks to pop on. It's a beautiful day here in Vermont, although we are indoors in our studio, Salt and Sand Studios in Warren, Vermont. So I've had the lighting adjusted through the Hue app to be sunshine. Maybe that comes across, maybe it doesn't. Today in Move and Meditate for our 50 minutes, we will spend a good portion of the practice at the end, probably close to 12 or 15 minutes in Shavasana. So if you like to place something over your body during a guided meditation, if you're lying on your back, you can go ahead and grab something now for that. You could always put a pillow under your head as well. If you have a preference for that sort of long guided Shavasana, this will be akin to a Yoga Nidra. You could always put your legs up the wall, or you could sit comfortably in a chair if that works better for your body. Just checking what we got for people on board here. And it is just about time to start. So I'm going to go ahead and take my seat. Once again, welcome to Yoga Intermission's Salt and Sand Studios. Try this at home series of 50-minute yoga classes and short meditations to support you in your world, whatever your world is like, today, tomorrow, any time. You might be joining us live Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, which is when I'm recording this, or you might join at another time that suits you better. So welcome. A comfortable seat is a good place to start. And if you're slouched over, you're going to really work the tailbone down and the belly in to create as long a spine as you need. If that means sitting in a chair, go ahead and sit in a chair. It also might mean placing something under your sitting bones, or in my case, I'm going to go ahead and place something under the outsides of my feet. Just for a moment, we'll close the eyes. Without changing the breath, notice the breath. Observe the ins and the outs, the places the breath goes in the body. Cultivating a deep awareness of the breath and its power. Elongate the breath. And we'll work on full belly breath, breathing in, the low belly puffs out really, really wide, all the way around like a floating balloon. Soften the belly, exhale. Again, breathe in, belly puffs out. 360 degrees, soften the belly, let the breath release. We'll add the low ribs. Breathe in, belly. Spread the low ribs all the way around the body, sipping in the air. Soften ribs and belly, breathe out. Take that again, belly. Low ribs, even around the sides and the back. Exhale, softly breathe out. And this time we add the chest, the space behind the heart. The breath in allows the belly to round, round, round. The rib cage to become rounder as well. And the heart lifts. Softly breathe it all out. We'll take one more round of that. Belly puffs. Low ribs expand. Heart lifts. Maybe the collarbones get wide. Soften the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Breathe out. Return to a natural breath. We'll find today the Janana Mudra, the mudra of higher wisdom. Will aid us in our Move and Meditate class. So take your hands, index fingers and thumbs touch at the very tips. And then we spread the other three fingers and place the backs of the hands onto the knees or thighs. Continue to activate the belly in and up just a little bit. See if you can encourage the shoulder blades to come a little closer to the backs of the hips. Tailbone, sitting bones rooted into the earth. And the crown of the head, like a flower petal toward the sky, lifting up. The Janana Mudra, associated with the center of the forehead, the third eye. The color is a deep indigo blue. It works a balance of all of the systems of the body. Perhaps here a little mantra. I open myself to the wisdom of the universe. I open myself to the wisdom of the universe. I open myself to the wisdom of the universe. On a breath in, spread your arms wide, right up to the sides, fingers super wide like they're feathers. Draw the shoulder together just a tiny bit. Activate your triceps. Inhale, float your arms high overhead. Press the palms together there. Maybe your chin lifts. Exhale, palms together at your heart. Thumb knuckles move toward the heart and the heart toward the thumb knuckles. You got to draw the belly in to do that. Drop the shoulders. Here we'll begin the more active part of our session. Aware of the breath, being mindful of the body in our movement. Creating a meditative type of flow. We'll do that starting with a chant of Om. First, a moment to establish an intention or just check in with your motivation for coming to your mat today. This Om that we chant, or maybe we just breathe, or maybe we hum, can surround us with those intentions, those motivations to guide the whole practice, even if we never think of that intention or motivation while we move. A cleansing breath first. Deep full breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, let it go. Long in breath. Move into a child's pose. Coming face down on the mat. The knees are nice and wide. The big toes touch. The forehead is resting on something. That could be a blanket, a block, a cushion, the mat, or maybe your hands are stacked underneath your forehead and the elbows bent to the sides of your mat. Sitting bones, energy draws toward the heels. Find your breath and imagine it can expand your low spine, your low back, your sacrum, all the way across from hip to hip. A little hip, hip, hooray. We'll bring the palms parallel to one another. Come up into a tabletop shape. I'll go ahead and remove the lengthy hoodie so that you can actually see my spine if you are taking a look. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed throughout practice. It might aid in creating a more mindful approach and allow you to follow the cues pretty closely. The knees are right under the hips and the wrists under the shoulders. You pause here to tilt the tailbone down a little bit. Round up between the shoulders, activating this posture, even in just this very sort of simple tabletop. Lots of energy into the tops of the feet and the hands. We're going to scooch the right leg behind us, top of the foot rests on the mat, then activate the belly, the right glutes, the hamstrings and the quads to press the shoelace side of that right foot into the earth. On an inhale, keep the hips square, float the right leg off the mat, toes pointed, and then the toes come down toward the earth without touching it. Exhale. Inhale. Look over the left shoulder. As you exhale, draw the right leg over the left. Bring the top of the foot to the floor outside your mat. And scooch the right front hip toward the left heel. You might come to your forearms. This begins to open up the left glutes. If you're not finding that, you might send the right hip a little more toward the left heel. Drop your head. Mindful of the places where you're feeling a stretch, a little challenge, but not pain. Rise back up using the belly and the glutes. As you exhale, the right knee taps above the right elbow, or maybe it doesn't quite make it there. Inhale, extend the leg out. Exhale, draw the knee to the mat. Maybe a few little motions or shapes that return you to your tabletop. And this time, left leg reaches long behind. Press the top of the foot into the earth. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your glutes. Activate the hamstrings and the quads. Imagine the left knee comes up toward the front of your left thigh. Inhale, float the leg off the mat. Keep the hips squared. Then we reach the heel behind as the toes point downward. Breath in and out. Now peek over the right shoulder. That left leg sweeps above the right calf. Come to the top of the foot and send the front of the left hip toward the right heel. I have run a little bit out of space. So I have to shift around, get a little shifty here in yoga. Drop your head. Mindfully aware of the right glutes, the stretch, the breath. Inhale, rise back to a three-legged tabletop. Exhale, the knee draws above the left elbow. Drop your head. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, the knee comes to the mat. I'm going to bring the knees and the inner edges of the feet together and draw the sitting bones toward the heels. Finding a little stretch as you reach the fingertips off the mat. The heels of the hands press forward. Drop your head. Round your spine a little bit. We'll go ahead and place the backs of the hands on the mat with fingertips pointing to the knees. This might be plenty for you as you work energy into the back knuckles. Are there front knuckles of your hands? Or maybe you lift the sitting bones up a little bit, or even make fists of the hands. Finding a little bit of stretch in the outer wrists. Rocking forward and backward if that works for you. We're going to flip the palms down and point the fingers either outward or toward your knees or somewhere in between. And once again, maybe this time really moving the sitting bones away from the heels, finding a little rock forward and backward, stretching out the inner wrists and the fingers. I can especially feel this in my pinky fingers. Now, I'm not letting the belly just drop to the earth. I'm drawing the belly in and up, rounding a little between the shoulder blades. Sit back on your heels and bring the palms of the hands to the thighs. Heels of the hands are on the hip creases. We're going to find little cat and cow shapes. By the way, if you have any low back issues, you might not move deeply into the cow shape. You might keep more of a neutral spine that squeezes the shoulder blades together. So for the cat, heels of the hands, almost like a massage, peel forward on the thighs, tuck the tailbone, scoop the belly in, drop your chin. Cat shape seated. Inhale, heels of the hands toward the hip creases. We find a little cow or a neutral spine. Shoulder blades squeeze toward each other. Maybe the gaze lifts up. Exhale, hands toward the knees, cat. Inhale, cow. Or neutral. Exhale one more time, cat. Inhale to neutral. We're going to find that tabletop one more time. Walk the hands forward a couple of inches, tuck your toes under, draw the belly in, lift the hips for a downward facing dog. In down dog, especially the first one of a class or of a day, you might find pedaling into the feet works really well, especially as the air gets colder outdoors. We get little pockets of air in our joints, and those sometimes create a little popping sound. There's nothing wrong with that as you move naturally. Chest draws toward the thighs. We find a little stillness in down dog, some power in the hands and belly to take some of the extra energy out of the wrists. Inhale, rise up to the tippy toes. Exhale, bend the knees a lot. Hover here. Press the sitting bones toward the heels. Look past your hands and take a slow walk all the way to your hands for a forward fold at the front of your mat. You might find that it helps to keep the knees super bent so the belly is in contact with the thighs. Maybe you take a ragdoll here. Each hand cups a bent elbow. Nod your head, shake your head, maybe sway left and right. If you're gripping the mat with your toes, see if you can release that. Next breath out, hands release to the mat. Guide the fingers up to the shins, press the shins away. A half lift, Arta Uttanasana. Draw the belly in, the shoulders toward the hips. Maybe you can extend your legs a little bit. Exhale, forward fold. Press the floor away, root to rise, moving into mountain pose. Allowing the shoulders to settle right over the hips, the hands drop by the sides. Here we notice, are we super bent in the knees or are we locking the knees? Somewhere in between supports the body best, belly in and up. Next breath in, arms float high overhead. Exhale, right hand outside the right hip. Breathe in, get tall, both sides of the body. Exhale to tilt over to the right, lifting the heart a little bit toward the sky. You don't have to come too far over. We're working to maintain length along the right side of the body, even as we open up the left rib cage, the left leg, the left underarm, outer arm. Inhale, arms float high. Exhale, left hand drops. We get tall, tall, tall breath in, lift the heart. Exhale, tilt over to the left. Heart shines toward the sky. Inhale, both arms reach high. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands through your heart, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, float all the way to standing. Arms will sweep wide, then high overhead. Exhale, cactus arms. Ooh, I love this posture. It really gives you the opportunity to peel the shoulder blades away from the ribs underneath and widen the collarbones. One hand at a time comes to your low back. Maybe the fingers intertwine, or maybe the backs of the hands press the fleshy part away from the spine. Lift the heart. We sit into a modified chair here. Energy into the heels. So maybe you float the toes off the mat, spread them wide, wiggle them around. One at a time, they come back to the mat. You might now, if it works for you, intertwine the fingers, draw the arms long, open up the heart a little bit more. Instead of tilting the bum backward, you're going to tuck it underneath and imagine sitting bones reaching down toward the backs of the heels. Breathe out for a forward fold. Maybe the intertwined hands float from your spine. Maybe they do not. Nod your head, shake your head. Maybe move into one shoulder then the other. Breath in. Exhale, hands release to the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, runner's lunge, left foot to the back of the mat. Nice and strong and long. Exhale, lengthen your leg, fold over it. Inhale, peel forward, runner's lunge. Exhale, lengthen and fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. One more time, lengthen and fold. Inhale to your lunge. Left hand down, right arm high, your twist. Long spine on the breath in. Twist on the breath out. Belly peels away from the thigh. Left heel to the top of the head, super long and strong. Really slowly lower the back knee, staying in your twist, untuck your toes. Maybe that gives you a little more real estate for your twist. Big breath in. Exhale, right hand down to the mat. Anjaneyasana, hands come to the right thigh. So we're taking a modified stance here so that you can super activate the left glutes. Mindful now of what's happening in the front of the left hip. And if you like, you may modify the placement of the arms to your full Anjaneyasana overhead. Or if it makes more sense for your body to open the heart in a cactus shape, or hands drop by your sides. Nice, long, full, slow breath. Energy in the heel, the front foot, and the top of the left foot, the back foot. When you're ready, breathe out, hands around your front foot. Left hip over the left knee for a half split, Arta Hanumanasana. Right foot might need to sneak forward. Peel the ball of the foot away from the mat. Maybe you have blocks or something under your hands. Hands do not have to be very close to the foot. Breathe in, lift the heart. Exhale, fold over your leg. Inhale, press the right foot back to the mat and switch the placement of the hands so they're inside the right foot. Heel toe the right foot out to the right. You might even bring it back a little bit toward the back of the mat. Peel the foot open like a book. And then your choice, you might remain here, or maybe your hands walk forward until your forearms come to the mat, or you could use a pillow or something for them. Lizard pose. Mindful of where the breath is moving, mindful of the places that are benefiting from this posture. Mindful of where the mind goes. Hands plant underneath your shoulders. Right foot plants on the mat. I'm going to tuck the back toes under, lift the hips and walk to the long edge of the mat. Toes turn in, heels out. Lift halfway up onto your fingertips. Draw the sitting bones behind you, the shoulders toward the hips. Exhale, forward fold, release the head. Maybe the fingers spin to the opposite side of the mat and walk between your feet. Hands return under the shoulders. Inhale halfway up. Heel toe the feet closer to one another so that they are just about shoulders distance. We're going to go ahead and point the right toes forward. Walk the hands around. And allow the left foot to come to an angle for Parsvottanasana, your pyramid pose. Drawing the right hip back in space. Spinning the inner thighs toward each other. Find your breath. Big breath in, exhale, step the back foot up to meet the front. We'll find our way into chair pose once again, this time with the arms overhead or perhaps in a cactus shape. Belly is helping out here. Rise up to standing, arms overhead or in cactus. This time drop the heels of the hands to your low back. Fingers point downward. Maybe a little more space between your feet. Press the fleshy part, the bottom, downward away from the back. And shift your hips forward just a couple inches. We're finding our way into a little back bend. Front of the body, sides of the body get long. Lift from the pelvis all the way to the sternum. Heart and shoulder blade, heart and collarbones open up. Maybe the gaze lifts high. Shoulders restack over the hips. Hands drop by the sides and they sweep wide and high. Breath in. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at your hips. Halfway lift, Arta Uttanasana. Exhale, hands plant, runner's lunge, right foot to the back of the mat. We'll take all of those shenanigans to this side, finding our beautiful length in the runner's lunge. Powering up the back leg, sturdy in the front, right fingertips down, left arm high for your twist. My shoulder doesn't work that way, so I'll bring my hand to the low back. Long spine, breath in. Exhale, twist. Again. And twist. Mindful of the navel working around the spine. Next breath out, slowly lower the back knee to the mat. Untuck the toes, perhaps an opportunity to deepen your twist. Next breath out, we're going to find Anjaneyasana, coming forward, hands on the thigh. Press away from the thigh, squeezing the right glutes. Shoelace side of the right foot, energy into the earth. Heel of the front foot, energy into the earth. And when you are ready, if it feels right, full Anjaneyasana, perhaps arms overhead, or modify for cactus shape, or hands by your hips facing forward. I find that helps me open the heart just that much more. Very mindful. I am mindfully aware that I missed one bit of the sequence on this side, which we will take in just a moment. Big breath in. Exhale, sink deeper into your front knee. We'll come back to our runner's lunge, hands around your front foot, back toes tucked under. And then we extend the front leg, folding over it. Inhale, peel forward, runner's lunge. Exhale, extend and fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. And one more time, extend and fold. Inhale, runners. Drop the back knee back to the mat. Half split, Arta Hanumanasana. Maybe your hands help the front foot reach forward. We're working the right hip just over the right knee. If you're super duper stretchy and you find that you can have a pretty straight leg in your half split, you're welcome to bring your sitting bones toward your right heel, or your right sitting bone toward your right heel. Otherwise, we're aiming for a long spine. Some of us have a micro bend or a macro bend in the front knee. Shoulders work toward the hips, belly in and up. The left foot comes back to the mat. Hands resituate inside the left foot, which we heel toe outward and probably a little bit backward. It's nice to have the ankle right below the knee, but it can be a little forward of that. We peel open the foot like a book. And depending on what the body asks us for, maybe the hands walk forward till the forearms come to the earth. Hands plant under the shoulders if they are not there. Sole of the left foot returns to the mat. We're going to bring the left hand outside the left knee now and heel toe the foot a little closer to the center of the mat. Tuck the back toes under, lift the hips, shorten the stance for Uttanasana pyramid pose. Again, we're drawing the left hip way toward the back of the mat to keep the hips parallel to the front of the mat. Let your head drop, 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 drop. Hands come to the mat. Front foot steps back to meet the back foot for a teeny little short downward dog. So the hands are forward of the feet. It's not a full forward fold, but you're in a place where both the hands and the feet can be all the way on the earth. Press the chest toward the thighs in this little tiny sort of schnauzer-sized downward dog. And cross the right ankle behind the left. Rise up and down on your toes, maybe bending the knees, drawing the hips downward, and then extend the legs as much as possible. Bind. The left ankle crosses behind the right. Bend the knees. A lot. Drop the sitting bones and slowly press the heels toward the earth. Unwind. Walk to your full downward dog. Really slowly peel the heart forward, drawing the belly into plank. Next breath out, press the hips high, downward facing dog. Next breath in, peel forward, high plank. Next breath out, slowly lower to the earth. Maybe knees drop. We're going to go ahead and bend the elbows to the sides of your mat in front of your chest so that the hands stack. Drop your forehead onto the backs of the hands. Maybe you need to extend. I'm working my legs a little longer onto the mat. Tops of the feet, the thighs, and the bony hips on the front of the body press to the earth actively. Tailbone points downward, navel lifts away from the earth. This will activate a lifting of the pelvis, the pelvic floor, working your Mula Bandha and your Uddiyana Bandha, forehead on your hands. Keeping all of that where it is, on an inhale, press into the forearms, lift the heart forward and up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep lifting the navel, but pressing the bony hips into the earth. Press, press, press away. Shoulders nice and wide. Shoulder blades sort of like they're kissing each other. Exhale all the way down to the mat. Untuck your hands, place them beside you with the palms facing downward. The forehead comes to the mat. Fingertips crawl away toward your feet. Maybe you zip up the legs. And again, bony hips into the earth, navel lifts away, tailbone points down. Inhale, lift the heart and the collarbones. Maybe the hands float as the shoulder blades squeeze. Maybe the kneecaps come toward the thighs. Finding locust pose. Breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Return all the way to the mat and a child's pose. Knees can be narrow in Balasana 1 or nice and wide in Balasana 2. Big, huge breath in and out. In and out. And one more round. Mindful of the breath and its power to relax the body. We're going to find our way onto a seat with soles of the feet onto the mat and the knees bent toward the sky. Palms of the hands on the kneecaps. We lift the heart, draw the tailbone down. Bring the feet closer together. Drop the knees outward. A moment in a sort of modified Baddha Konasana. Bring the hands behind your bottom with the fingers pointing toward your bottom. We're going to go ahead and extend the front body to lift the heart. Shoulder blades draw together. We're opening up to all the beauty and wonder and wisdom around us as we drop the head back. One at a time, come to your forearms, finding a bit of a modified Supta Baddha Konasana fish pose. Working once again the space from right at the top of the pelvis to the sternum, right below the breast. Nice and long. Press the floor away with your forearms and then one at a time. Release the forearms coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe the arms are overhead or in a shape or a hand on the belly and a hand on the heart. Mindful once again of the breath, the places where the body is opening up, and any places that are feeling maybe just a little bit of tension or stress or hanging on. Let the breath find its way there. I'm going to take one more twist before we move into our guided meditation in Shavasana. So let the hands come to the outer thighs if they can, and slowly help the knees lift to the sky. We're going to heel toe the feet a little outward so that the soles of the feet are on the earth. We'll cross the right ankle above the left knee, and then keeping this sort of figure 4 shape, we're going to drop the left knee out to the left. So the sole of the right foot might actually come to the earth. We're moving on to the left hip, the left shoulder blade, and if possible, drawing the right shoulder blade also to meet the earth as you gaze over your right shoulder. So that left knee could be bent a lot, or maybe it's not bent at all. Bring the sole of the left foot back to the earth, returning to this sort of figure 4 shape. Unwind from it. Right foot on the earth. The left ankle crosses above the right knee. You might heel toe the right foot toward the left side of the mat before you drop your knee over to the right. Maybe the left toes or sole of the foot comes to the mat. I like to shift my shoulder blades a little toward the right as well before dropping the gaze over to the left. Breathe in for 3, 2, and 1. The right foot heel toes back to the earth. And then hug the knees into the heart or find a happy baby. Wherever you go, a little rock or a little movement, massage of the low spine, take that here. And then find whatever you need to remain warm and comfortable in Shavasana. That might mean having the legs long on the mat in the traditional shape, palms face up beside your body. Maybe the knees are bent, but if that's the case, see if you can drop the knees toward each other, having the feet wider than your hips. Maybe you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, or maybe the legs are up the wall. So many options. We're going to be here for about 12 minutes. So allow yourself to place something over the body if it needs a little warmth or a little weight. Especially good is to place it over the thighs, which is supportive of the parasympathetic nervous system. And here we take a huge, huge breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, let it go. The head rocks a little left and a little right. And it settles. We feel the shoulder blades connected to the earth. Allow the breath to come easy. Mindfully aware of any sensation in the right hand. Maybe it's many sensations. Without judgment or analysis, explore them. Allow the breath to dissipate any of those sensations. And replace it with softness in the fingers, the hand, the thumb. This feeling, this sensation, this wonder of softness, of relaxation is carried on the breath from this heavy right hand up into the right wrist. The elbow, right shoulder softens. Collarbone, the notch at your center throat, the right side of the chest. Breath brings the softness into the right ribs, the lower belly, hip, thigh, right knee, lower leg, ankle, all through the foot. Without any effort from you, you're mindfully aware of any sensations in the left hand. Your breath meets those sensations and explores them. And with kindness, the breath encourages these sensations to disappear, dissipate, dissolve. The hand becomes heavy and soft. Fingers, thumb, and on the breath rides this softness on a journey to the left wrist, elbow, shoulder, the left collarbone, the left side of the chest, rib cage, belly, hip, left thigh, the knee, the lower leg, ankle, entire left foot. The right side of the body is relaxed. The left side of the body relaxed. Front body softens into the back body, and the back body is completely relaxed. You're relaxed. 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 In this relaxed state, you become mindful once again of the breath without controlling it. At your cadence, breathe and observe your exhales. Perhaps even seeing the air move out of the body once the body has nourished from it. Breathing out for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. At the center of the body, a core of heat. This incredible ball of heat, like the colors of fire, expands outward, creating heat all the way to the fingertips and the toes and the top of the head. You feel heat. 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 Right at the very edges of the skin, like a sheath, a sensation of cold. It permeates the entire body right down back to the core. All the soft tissues, the organs, the bones, the blood, you feel cold. 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 The heaviness now descends on this human form, this physical vessel, burdensome. It sinks down into the mat. You feel heavy. 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 The breath brings a sense of lightness throughout the body, inside and out. The body now feels light, floating, expansive. You're light. Light. You find yourself floating in a boat. No oars, just you and a wooden boat. Above, the sky gets darker. Rain, thunder, lightning pouring down, your hair dripping, your chin dripping, your clothing wet. The wind buffets the boat. You hang on to the sides with your hands, wondering when this terrible storm will end. Peering through the darkness with a flash of lightning helping out, you see jagged rocks. Your body stiffens with danger, your mind racing. Suddenly, a fin appears. 2 fins, 3, 4. At first you gasp, concerned. Is this danger? Soon you see the white and black skin shining in the lightning. A little bit of moonlight. Orca The orca begin to swim, moving the water in ways that separate your boat from the rocks. One animal moves between you and the rocks, and slowly these magnificent animals turn your boat. And as they swim, powerful, beautiful, vocalize to one another. Allow their wisdom, their energy, their power to wash over you in this frightening storm. Very soon they have guided your boat close to shore. They wait in relatively shallow water. You step out of the boat and swim on to the wet sand. You turn and swim away just as the clouds break and the moon shines through. You sit onto the sand, gaze upward at the moon, out into the calming seas. Now, becoming aware once again of your physical form on your mat. You observe the breath moving in and out. Encourage it once again to deepen, filling the entire body with all the wisdom of the universe, nourishment of the earth. The deepening breath brings movement back into the body as if you're reawakening. Perhaps only tiny movements in your extremities to start. And those build momentum, allowing eventually for one knee and then the other to bend so you can roll onto one side. Curled up in a wonderful, comforting, nourishing position. You bring back to mind your intention or the motivation for coming to your mat today. Give yourself a little handshake, a little acknowledgement, a little gratefulness, a little thanks for taking the time to come to your mat. Considering the power of the wisdom that is all around us. Press yourself back to a comfortable seat. And in our seats, we'll take Janana Mudra once again. The tips of the index fingers connect with the tips of the thumbs, making a little key circle. The other three fingers extend and the backs of the hands come to the thighs or the knees. And we'll use this mudra with the sound of Om to close out our practice. Big breath in. Palms pressed together at your heart. Heels of the hands come to the top of the head. Through our consciousness, may we know wisdom. Thumb knuckles to the third eye center. Through our intuition, may we know wisdom. Thumb knuckles to the heart. Through Anahata, our heart chakra, May we feel wisdom. Thumb knuckles return to the center of the forehead. We recognize and honor the light in one another, bowing and saying, Namaste. It's terrific to practice with you. I hope that you have a wonderful remainder of your day or evening, depending on when you are practicing. Once again, I am Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios. Absolutely try this at home at any time the recordings pop up, just a few minutes after they are live. I hope you feel great, and I hope you go forward with your day with a little bit more vim and vigor and wisdom. Thank you once again. Don't forget to like. If you got funding, donate. If you don't worry about it. Thank you very much.